podcast is rated TV PG for fantasy violence and language. Welcome back to Star Wars Birth of the Republic tabletop role-playing game, Episode 17. I'm Kirk, and I will be your storyteller.
I am Andrew. I play Hakru, the Zabrak Scout.
I'm Eric. I'm playing Lashara, the Bothan Noble.
I'm Greg. I'm playing Dodd, the Human Scoundrel.
Yeah, I'm Seth, playing Jad Marketa, the Rhodian Scoundrel.
This is Mary, and I will be playing Rura, the Tagorian Scout.
All right, welcome back to another edition of Birth of the Republic, the Star Wars game we've been playing. And last time we were visiting Haro, getting our ship upgraded, and one of his buildings was demolished through explosives. And you guys did some investigating and found out it was a cloaked figure that arrived, set the charges, and left. Got onto a ship outside of the starport and took off low across the planet for a couple hundred kilometers and then took off into space. So there was really no recording or documentation that the ship did for landing or takeoff or anything like that. And you guys went back and told Haro what was going on, and the next day, he got a visit from Odont, and you guys went and had a discussion with him, basically telling him you knew everything that was going on with the station and the planet that they were supplying weapons to. And as he was getting ready to leave, Haro stunned him and took him into custody. And you guys basically have his ship to fly to Goshi base, or Goshi station, and do some damage or do some recon. I think it was more recon than anything. Finding out what they're doing, what they're into, where the shipments are coming from, things like that. And that's where we ended last time. So the droids pull his body off into the lift, and the lift door is shut. And Haro says, "We're going to keep him for as long as we need to. We'll keep him secretly, so no one's really going to know. We'll keep him kind of on campus, but in a different location than we kept the other two guys, or keeping the other two guys." So it's up to you guys if you want to leave today. Right now, I think it was in the evening when he showed up, or you can leave in the morning. It's up to you.
Do we need to get any kind of supplies together and we need to go through that ship that we got from him and see what's up, maybe leave it in the morning, give us some time to do that?
It's up to you
Sounds
guys.
good to me.
Yeah, it's definitely not a bad idea. From a purely player perspective. Now, I guess my only question is our ship, the Ripper, ready to go?
No, you're still like...
So we would only have this guy's ship.
Yeah, you're like 2 or 3 days out still for the Ripper. It's all pulled apart.
So waiting for that to get finished would take days. That would probably cause if they don't hear from this guy,
Quite
it's
possibly.
probably going to cause some suspicion.
Yeah.
Right. We're better off if we go sooner instead of later.
Go
Yeah,
there,
no,
do our thing, get back, get on the Ripper. Nobody's the wiser.
Yeah.
All this means is we need to make sure that his ship is capable of leaving the
Yes.
station as well. Because I remember there was some discussions about just sending the ship in and letting it explode.
Yeah, I think we talked about that. It's not really a Star Wars thing to overload the engines and use it as a bomb. It's more of a Star Trek thing.
Wait a minute. There was that movie. Oh no, that was the second or the third trilogy. Never mind.
Yeah, where they decided to use hyperspace to slice through another ship.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that Kirk's running with a hard, fast rule of no Kathleen Kennedy.
No.
Right. We are like several thousand years before that practice was even thought of. Right?
About 930 years before that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you would think if this had happened, it would be a common, easy thing to do to take out massive capital ships.
Yeah. I always
With
kind of
ships.
saw hyperspace as like an alternate dimension
Right.
that doesn't interfere
It's
with our
supposed to be.
dimension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
That's why there's
jumping
a-
through hyperspace ain't like dusting crops, boy. You'll
Yeah.
bounce too close to a supernova or blah blah blah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's a tunnel that they go through, and when they come out of it, then you see stars. So it's got to be something else.
Well,
Yeah.
I always got the feeling that, again, like gravity could affect, the gravity of
Right.
massive objects would affect you in hyperspace, but you don't really have any effect on the world around.
Right.
So,
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Anyway, sorry for the distraction.
That's all right.
I just
we went through the same discussion last episode, so the viewers are like, "What?
Oh.
They just talked about this."
Oh, we can lop this off.
Yeah.
well, for them it's been a week. For us, it's been
Yeah.
a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's looking like he is well connected. What can we ascertain about his ship in a quick amount of time?
Looking
I
out.
was thinking I would just like to kind of go over it as a mechanic and like get familiar
Yeah.
with it if we're
Right.
going to be flying it into
Yeah.
a dangerous situation.
Looking out of the window, you see it's a Vaya class scout ship.
Is it VAYA?
Yep. And it's in the wiki.
I guess my question would be, can we just go down and start rooting around inside of it?
Yeah.
Like, just like do a full systems check?
Yeah.
Right, that's what I
I
was
think
thinking
between-
tonight and then leave
Okay.
tomorrow.
Yeah, we got 2 engineers and at least 2 people who have used computer. And Lado. So,
Yeah. It's up to you guys.
Yeah, we can go see if there's any weapons aboard.
Okay, so you guys pick up and head down, walk out onto the landing pad, and there it is. It's a very pristine scout ship, and it's got the markings of the Tatari on the wing, one's underneath and one's on top. So, the gangplank's down.
Does he have any security? All right. Is
Doesn't
that a
look like
roll for notice or something?
You can do a perception roll.
Okay.
ooh.
Perception.
Can anyone do this, or is this just Dodd?
Yeah, you all can do it.
Okay, cool.
18 plus 9 is 27.
Yeah.
29.
There's no one around at all, and you think if he would have had security, he would have brought it with him up to the tower.
Okay.
Amateur hour. They didn't guard the ship. Now it's being stolen.
Or he's used to his name being enough to keep people in line.
Yeah, that's probably more of it.
I'm just going to stroll on board.
Hubris.
All right, the Rodian just walks in front of everybody else and starts up the plank. And,
Yeah, following.
Crew
and,
shortly behind.
and unlike most ships you're used to being on with being kind of grimy and dirty looking, this thing is clean. It is polished, white, very shiny inside. And I don't have a schematic of it or anything. So you guys walk up into a bay, and it's got a pretty good sized cargo. I think it's about the same as your ship. And you walk through that, and it opens up into a small, like, living area. And there's a protocol droid tending to a kitchenette when you guys walk in, and he turns around and kind of starts.
Oops. State your designation.
I am F72. Has
7-2.
Has Odant sent you?
Yes, as a matter of fact, he has. We have nearly immediate needs at the station that we will be attending to.
Okay. Is Odant on his way?
Should be along shortly.
Okay.
I turn around and look at the rest of the crew wide-eyed, like as if to suggest, anyone have any ideas here?
It goes back to chopping vegetables or something.
I'm gonna slowly start to pull my pistol out.
I don't know that that's the idea. Well, let's use that as the last resort, I say. Anyone else? Someone with a technical mind, perhaps?
Yeah, I'm not very good with the technical stuff.
A crew.
Know much about droids.
Yeah, no one really knows much about droids. Like, player Andrew's got all kinds of ideas. A crew is just like,
A crew spends all this time with
Leto.
Leto, and
and he views Leto as as another sentient being.
Well, this one's just a confused sentient being, chopping broccoli or whatever.
This is a used computer role.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, that's me then. Hold
Yeah.
on. Time to hack the droid. Oof. How's the 26?
You're gonna have to get a hold of it and actually use a toolkit on it to open it up and everything.
Okay.
If you want to reprogram it.
Sure. Is that knowledge that I'm like that was the role to discover whether or not I knew how to deal with this?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's just a trained only thing. Requires a toolkit. It's pretty easy. It's almost like switching channels on a TV. I mean, it's not super crazy.
Okay. I look at oh boy, what are my options here?
I'll start
The
pulling out my
Rhodian.
pistol again.
Yep. I look at you and smile, and I say something like, "That thing's got does it have a stun setting that works on droids?"
Not really.
Huh. Okay. Did anybody bring a tool pack? Excellent.
Do I have one?
Within earshot of the protocol droid.
Yeah,
I hope not.
I assumed you guys turned around and kind of backed up a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Would there be one of those in the belt?
No, it's something specific that you have to buy
Oh, okay.
that Hooker owns.
All right.
Oh, man.
Let's look at the rest of our accommodations that Odant has.
Do we need a toolkit or a slicer's kit?
Toolkit.
Toolkit, yeah. Kakuru's got that.
Yeah, I've got the other one. Okay.
Between the two of us.
Yeah.
And I'm trained to use computer.
Yep.
Sweet. Let's check out the rest of the accommodations that Odant has so graciously supplied us with for this journey. And I start walking towards the door like a Muppet.
Okay. It doesn't do anything. You're looking at it, and this is a protocol droid. It is not a weapons design droid.
I've heard that before. Who here has ever thought, totally not suspicious droid. It's going to kill me. Show of hands. Anyone?
Yeah.
Just me and her crew. Okay.
The crew doesn't trust
I don't think
anything.
I've ever thought that.
Okay.
Strange.
So when he goes to the cockpit, after being told that the plan is to reprogram this thing,
yeah.
Haku's just going to walk up to the protocol droid and open up his toolkit and just goes, there are some new protocols that I was told to upload to you for what we need at the station. May I continue?
Was this authorized by ODOT?
Yes, he's the one who sent me.
Of course.
Make a deception roll.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I will assist if necessary.
So I'm not trained in deception. So it's just my half level plus my ability modifier, correct?
Yes.
Okay. 19.
Yeah.
Nice.
He says, "Very well," and he turns with his back to you.
Yeah. I open his access port and I start reprogramming him.
Okay.
And what I want to do is I just want to reprogram his ownership
Yeah.
to us.
Yep. That is a use computer roll, and the difficulty is an 11. And this takes about 10 minutes. It's against
Why
his
don't
will.
we steal droids all the time?
I pass.
Yeah. Takes
Yeah, I
about-
didn't roll a 1. I pass.
Takes about 10 minutes. You close him back up, and he opens his eyes.
Hey, before you close it back up, I wanna take a look, and I pull out a connecting cable that goes to my visor, because I just want to kind of have a look at the software and see if there's any sort of malicious or strange software inside of his hard drives.
Okay.
And like you said, the reprogram is just an 11. My base is an 11.
Yeah.
I rolled a 12, so we have a grand total of 23.
Yeah.
So if that assists with whatever he's looking for, if not, cool.
Not for what he's doing. Let's see. And that reprogrammed droid lets you change its new master, copy stored data in its memory banks, change its trained skills, erase memories selectively, or erase its memory entirely, resetting it to the factory presets.
Sorry about that, guys.
I'm just going to change master and copy the data.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm just looking for any kind of strange programming inside of this guy that would make me believe that he's been given any kind of directives other than, or skills other than what would normally be included with the protocol droid suite.
All right. Andrew, go ahead and make another roll for copying its data. And Greg, make a roll. DC's 11 on all
32.
these. Yeah.
Oh, cool. 13.
Yeah. It's pretty, it's easy to copy everything. It looks like it's just memories, basically, of what he's got. And it's pretty standard training programming. There's nothing nefarious. It looks like he's just set up to be a classic protocol droid with food and languages and protocols and things like that.
Great.
Etiquette?
Okay. Yes, probably etiquette and protocol.
Yeah. And he has some computer use skill, and it seems like... are you going to scan his memories a little bit?
I thought that I would.
Yeah, once we've got them copied down to like a data pad or something like that, then I'll... no, Haku wouldn't do that. He wouldn't scan them. He would just hand it to Dodd and be like, "You were interested in this," and then he would go check out like the ship's systems.
Okay.
Yeah, and Dodd doesn't want to waste any more of everybody else's time with this. He'll just sit down on the couch and start looking through it, see
Okay.
if he notices anything.
Perception.
Okay. 20, a natural 20,
That's enough.
and perception, so 29.
Yeah. You go through this kind of skimming, looking for similar things, and it looks like he has a lot of preparations for when Odant arrives on places, especially that have to do with the Tatari. He does a lot of like the introductions and day-to-day stuff, so he's constantly...
Does he know the passwords?
Exactly.
And,
He uses his clearance. He basically announces them, and that's his clearance to get into things and do things for Odant.
Great. We just found our key.
So he's basically a walking passport.
Great.
He's got clout.
And none of us look like Odant, right?
No.
None of us have the eyes on the stalks.
No.
So,
But
and it'd be really hard to fake that.
yeah. But you're skimming through some memories, it looks like he goes off on his own and does stuff on Odant's behalf. So he gets food and things like that. Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else that they want to do on the ship before we just steal it? I'm sure you want to look for weapons and check the actual fire control systems, kind of engines we got, that sort of thing. So please do that because I don't know anything about those things.
Yeah, and that's
I
what
wanted to familiarize myself with like the workings of it, what its capabilities are in terms of flying and engines and combat.
Yeah.
Shara's gonna find a quiet place and kind of start meditating a little bit and using the Force to see if there's any kind of traps or protocols that safety things on this ship that would stop it from being stolen or cause malfunction or anything like that.
Okay. That would be more of a mechanics role.
Okay.
And even, I guess a used computer, you can go through that way to see if there's any blocks or anything like that. If everybody wants to refresh their Via class scout ship, it has all the stats now on it. So make a used computer to see if there's anything program-wise that would be a lockout or anything like that. And if there's, you can go through it mechanic-wise just to see if there's any hardware lockdowns or anything like that.
Got a 19.
Yeah. You go through like a systems diagnostic to, where it puts it in like a training mode where you can do like a virtual takeoff and there's nothing that comes up. This is pretty much just his pleasure scout ship that he uses to run around all the time.
I'm guessing he didn't think that he would ever come in and just get stunned.
It doesn't seem like he's used to going into places where there's danger. Like the Tatari are always set up in the areas before he arrives, or their reputation precedes him, that sort of thing.
Gotcha.
I'm going to go find his quarters and rifle through them.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was the name of this starship?
The Via class scout ship.
Via class scout ship. I don't see it on the wiki.
Let's see.
I found the droid.
It is on the wiki above the rules. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up, right above Wookiee.
Oh, okay. I was looking at. Okay, I was looking at the characters, not the.
Oh, yeah. Only the Ripper's a character. But F7
Foxy
should.
looking thing.
Yeah, F7 should be in the character descriptions, or the characters.
Yep, I found F7 because I was going to try to find his character sheet.
Yep.
Because I already keep Lados open, so I'm just tracking my droids.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's got a lot of bureaucracy, galactic lore, social sciences, and persuasion.
Lash is going to go. She's going to look over at our Rhodian friend for whatever reason. I can't remember Seth's character's name.
Jed.
Jed.
Looks over at Jad and says, "Hey, Jad, it looks like the manifest says that they have concussion missiles aboard. Can you go check to see if we have a full complement and if they're ready to go, just in case?" And she winks at him.
Oh, yeah. Be right back.
Roll perception for that, Jad.
17.
You get back there and look, and there are 4 projectiles,
Nice.
which is the maximum payload it carries.
Yeah. All right, I'll relay that information.
Okay.
Yeah, so Lash is just going to kind of poke around a little bit and see what kind of accommodations there are, and pick a spot to practice some of her meditations and whatnot while everyone else is doing the mechanical stuff to get on way.
Okay. It looks like there are. Boy, would there be 4? Yeah, there's 4 quarters, and they're pretty small. Like they're just meant to be slept in, and maybe a few things.
Which one was Odon's? And
Number.
Is there anything to rifle through?
There's clothing. Would there be a cred stick? There's a cred stick there. Let's see what's got on it.
I'll just pocket that.
It's got 48 credits on it.
Ship has shields.
Yeah, ship has shields. Boy, what else would there be? Some other knickknacks. They look like they're from different planets or different species, that sort of thing. And the other quarters, there's nothing in them at all. They're totally blank.
All right. So after Lash, throws down her gear bag in a quarter, she's gonna head back up and talk to Dodd, and she said, "Well, I don't think I see any issues with the ship. We should be able to get underway pretty quickly. Do we want to get out of here now, or do we want to wait until morning?"
I think we should all agree on a plan. But as soon as that agreement's in place, does anybody know how long it takes to get to the station from here?
Pretty sure F-7-2 would know.
This is your
What?
job.
Navigation is my job.
I say, usually you're the one at the computer figuring out how long it's going to take us and where we need to go.
Yep.
All right, navigation time. How long does it take to get to, Natashi State? What the heck is this place called?
Goshi base.
Goshi Base. All
What's
right.
that droid's name again?
F-7-2.
F-7-2.
F-17.
24.
It looks like it's going to take about 2 days to get there.
2 days?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's pack up and get rolling.
Yeah.
Unless you guys can see anything out of like, I don't have any inspired ideas just yet, but maybe our host might have some clever technology lying around that might make this more fun. I have been waiting around for a security spike. I don't know if that's
That's right.
arrived or not.
And that was downloadable to.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing just yet.
Okay. We may have to do this one without it. I'm not mad if we don't.
Well, is that spike capable of disabling their systems on Goshi?
Not necessarily. It was really designed to. The request was to hijack the security droid network,
Right.
basically.
Okay.
But I think it was more for one droid. It's like instead of pulling the
Right.
back off and going, you would just spike it into its port, and it would take care of reprogramming it.
Which I thought might be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But we can always come back, and do
Yeah,
that later.
well,
Yeah.
now that we know how easy it is to reprogram a droid, I feel like we could just walk up and give one a shiv and then reprogram it, you know?
I believe this is meta knowledge. The complexities go up as the droid class
Right.
goes up.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
So security droid would have a higher will for being reprogrammed.
Gotcha. I still think between me and the other folks on the crew that have
Yeah.
computer skills, we could probably manage.
Yeah.
Well,
This-
and for this, go ahead.
This is more, the spike would be more of a stealthy 1-2 punch as opposed to having to stun it and pull it somewhere and then pull it apart and wait, take 10 minutes to try and reprogram. The spike would just do it all pretty much instantaneous within a turn or two. It's basically you're plugging in a USB drive that has a virus on it.
Gotcha. So Lash tells Dodd, I'm kind of brewing up a couple ideas here. How about we continue to use our new droid friend here to grant us an audience with whoever we may want to see, and maybe bypass a lot of their standard security on station.
It's a great idea. Yeah, I mean, we could just walk in the front door
Yeah.
and demand an audience with whomever by saying, look at what we did. You guys need guys like us on your team. Something like that, maybe. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I was thinking of some kind of cover story just to get to where we want to go. Who exactly do we want to see here? Are we wanting to take out Tatari? Are we wanting to gather data? Are we wanting to disable the station? What do we want to do?
So my primary idea is to hurt them, right?
Yeah.
And I think we've got 2 days of travel where we can figure out what the best way to do that is.
Yep.
And something else inspiring might come along after we arrive. We may notice something that might cause some real detrimental damage. But as far as an actual plan, no. For once, for me, I feel like it's point A to point B. We need to hurt them. And we need to get them to a point where...
I'm all for that. I couldn't remember exactly what we wanted to accomplish as like the overarching goal for going there.
We have several
Let's hurt
options.
them.
We can collect data and sell it to their competitors, thus undermining their schemes, right? We can destroy some of their infrastructure. We could steal a great deal of some sort of liquid asset that they have on site. Or we could do as much freaking property damage as possible. Those are the 4 options that I see. But I'm willing to listen to what other options you guys might have.
Well, I'm totally down for getting underway, and then we can form up a few ideas in round.
Okay. You guys ready to go then?
We did ask our benefactor if he had any explosives.
Right.
And he said just a small amount.
Yeah. Nothing
that we
huge.
could use.
Not on a station that big.
Right. Now, this station is in orbit, right?
Yeah.
No, it's on the planet.
It's
a base.
It's a floating space station.
Oh, okay.
Is a satellite.
Yeah, it's by itself. There's
It's not in orbit of anything,
no,
but it is
there'd be
open in space.
Right.
So it's like nowhere.
Right.
For the.
Right.
Gotcha.
But they're still. I remember now. Sorry about that, guys. They're double dealing with arms to the planet and escalating conflict. I thought they were at that planet,
No.
but I gotcha. We're cool. Yeah, I think that espionage here is in order. That's where I'm going to go. We can talk about that once we're underway.
Unless anybody else has anything that they want to do, I think we buckle up.
Didn't we also talk about potentially stealing information to sell to one of the sides on the planet?
Well, I mean, like they would have their you get at point of sale, the sale ticket of what they've been doing with both sides. They would have something like that there.
Well, that's where I was kind of gonna go here once we got underway. Is I think the hurt to Tatari the most, because this is where they're profiteering here big time, is by blowing open their plot and their underlying double dealing that they're doing.
So what you're saying?
To their clients.
So what you're saying is let's secure some evidence that proves,
Absolutely.
without a doubt, that these guys are servicing both sides of the war and profiteering.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that would be
Gotta find a way
I
to
think
hit 'em
that's
in
an
the
excellent
pocketbook.
priority. Excellent priority. What do you think? What We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I was going to say, what do you guys? Okay, quick recollection from the team. What revelation of what we knew that Odant heard us utter to him in the last scene of the last episode, per se? I guess I should say this in character. What do you guys think hit him the most of the things that we were saying to him just before he got stunned? Like, was there anything in particular that stood out? Because that seems like the right place to attack.
He called you all very rude very many times. Frankly, I had to agree with him.
Yeah,
He was-
well, not always that great. What can I
He
say?
was quite upset that we interrupted their tour profiting that they were doing at Dog He.
Right. Yep, that's true.
The last thing you said to him that panicked him was knowing about Rampao and selling weapons.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the one that set
So
him
that-
off. That's the one thing he didn't expect anybody to be known about. So it may be his personal, private thing. So could the tour. It could all be under his personal thing. He may not be getting direction to do these specific projects. It may all be his private enterprises.
Man, we need to get to this guy's office and just have a
Maybe
look
he
through
has
his
something
stuff.
on his computer in his quarters.
Let's
I
find
mean,
out.
there was so.
Let's go and see what we're up against once we get there, of how much resistance there is with our droid friend escorting us to get where we need to go. I think that should be the main plan.
Does anybody have
Well, I
any
mean, it's a
ideas
2-day
as
trip.
to-
Right.
We have 2
Right.
days and free access to his
Yep.
fields. Is that what they called fields? No. Okay.
Feels? I don't know what that means.
They're inside the computer.
Files.
Files.
Yes.
I thought that's what you used to shave a boy bar.
Similar. Those are called fells.
Because then the bar falls over. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And then I look at everybody else and give the big classic wink. Okay.
Is there anything else you want
Let's-
to take from your planet or the ship before you leave?
Should we?
I want to make sure that I've got
Toolkits.
all my gear.
Yeah, toolkits, gear, whatever you're going to do.
Yeah.
I'd say get it all.
Toolkits, gear. Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Were they wearing any kind of uniform?
They did not have matching uniforms. They just had the patch on them.
All right. Should we try to get some of those patches fabricated before we leave?
Yeah.
Good idea.
Okay. I don't think it would take too long. Somebody's bound to have a 3D printer, right? Or something.
No, 3D printers don't exist in Star Wars. Light speed travel, yes. 3D printing, no.
They don't have Wi-Fi either.
They don't
so-
have
Or
replicators or
Right.
Bluetooth. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, it's not a big thing to get these tiny little things recreated. They may not be exact matches, but yeah, you run back and grab one off one of the guys, and it's just a patch, tears right off. Let's
Yeah,
Do they
'cause
want
I
to
don't
come
want
with
that.
us?
Huh?
Oh,
Do they
hell
want to
no.
come? Oh, okay.
Haro doesn't have anybody, but he sends it off to have them replicated.
Is her
While
crew
we're
coming
waiting
with
for
us?
that. Yeah.
What was that?
Not her crew. Who's our pilot?
It is a crew.
Yeah, does
Nanat.
does
No,
not
no,
have any
Nanat
interest in
coming.
coming along?
Nanat wants to stay with the ship,
Okay,
and
smart. We just had a bombing here.
Leto was going to stay with him.
Oh,
Do
okay.
we want to, while we're passing the patch off to Haro, explain our goal here and give him an estimate of when we should probably be returning, and if we're not back by this amount of time, something.
Okay, so you debrief him on everything you found so far,
Yeah.
droid and everything.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
he says if this character is the one that's putting the screws on me, if you can get into his database and maybe erase my information and anybody on the planet and everything, so if nobody else has an idea what he's up to, then it ends with him. We go silent. Oh, and if that droid can give orders in his name, maybe he calls that third party that's trying to sell the tour and tells him to back off or fires him or something like that, where he's not going to be used anymore. I don't know.
like
That's
it.
just,
Good idea.
if you're speaking with his voice, then change orders, shut things down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more damage than anything. Or start bad relations with that third party that's trying to sell Tor, or between the supply, or between the weapon suppliers. Fire them, turn them off, or
I like it.
all that stuff. So
Third party vendor and be like,
we're going with a different direction, or you guys
so-
sucked.
Odant told me to tell you to stick it.
Yeah.
Hey,
He
I'm
says-
terribly sorry, but like I'm on a hydration schedule and I have to pee now, and I'm sorry. I will be right back.
After
So
these
let's
messages,
hold up
I'll
until
be
he gets
right
back. So just FYI,
Well,
You-
lots of options
yeah,
available to
and,
us.
and
here.
you can spend 2 days going over the droid's video logs and everything, and see what he's done when he comes into the base, how he acts, where he goes, to see exactly what the protocol is when they land. What's the security like? What's it?
Surely
What are the
he's
general
been-
things?
Keeping track of his itinerary, that should tell us a lot on its own.
Yeah. But if you want to see like the station security and how they react when he shows up, and I mean that's all in his memory banks. Just have to sift,
I'm still
sift through
not
it.
sure. Still not sure once we get to the planet or to the base, is the Chitauri section of the base one small section of a larger structure, or is it like the whole freaking base is nothing but bad guys?
You'd have to go through his data banks, and I don't know if he would have that interaction,
Yeah,
because he's
I
just
thought we were out of character right now.
Yeah.
Are we? We are on pause, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we're back.
I mean, you didn't have to pause. My headset goes all the way upstairs, so I could hear the whole conversation. If I wanted to, I could have switched over to this mic, but you wouldn't want to hear what was going on my end.
So yeah, I mean, you can go through his memory banks for the 2 days and find out what his normal routine is like, what he does when he's on the base. A protocol
You don't
droid
even-
may not do a lot of fraternizing with people outside of his direct duties, because he's just a little protocol droid.
Is he so? Would Dodd and interested parties be able to get that information from the copy that we made?
Yeah, you just have to sift
Okay.
through it.
Because Hakru wants to hang out and get to know F-72.
Okay, that can be done as well.
Cool.
I'm going to suggest that we, based on what Bosch was starting to say earlier, that we let them know how long it's going to take us to get there, and by the time we get there, give us a little time to not get back. Like our ship will be ready. So
Right.
if we give them a window where Nanat should come find us, if we haven't
Yeah.
heard from him, if he hasn't heard from us.
And the Ripper.
Mm-hmm.
If he hasn't heard from us in 5 days, come get us.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Because that is 2 days there, a day to fuck around, 2 days to get back. If we're on that base longer than a day, we did something wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
Or you can contact him when you get to the base and let him know if everything's okay and if you should,
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, we should build it. Like, I like the idea of the 5 days if you don't hear for
Right.
anything else, and then otherwise we will
Yeah.
keep in touch.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good to me.
Yeah, you can share
Sounds like a plan.
the coordinates are in his ship, so you can send them to Nanat and everything like that.
All right.
Anything else? The patches take like an hour, and they come back with a stack of like 10 of them.
Great.
Uh,
Gear. Patches.
But in addition to the normal gear that Hakru grabs, he is also going to grab his fancy clothes.
Okay. Anybody else taking a change of clothes or
Oh yeah,
disguise or?
yeah.
Taking a suitcase. No.
Yep. She's.
All right.
If anything wasn't connected to the walls, Lash is bringing her, everything. I mean, she doesn't have a ton of stuff, so
Right. It is a suitcase and a half,
yeah.
Does that
The third
include
suitcase
these-
with the big hair dryer. Just leave that.
I was just gonna say, are you bringing the hair dryer?
Only what you need to survive. No,
It's
Does
my
that mean you're bringing this-
industrial strength hair dryer, and I need it.
fine. So are you bringing the super disco trendy holocron?
Ooh, good question.
Crew would actually like you to bring this because her crew made a promise to train every day.
Okay, settled.
Okay.
Yeah, it's coming too.
It was easy.
Everything gets loaded onto the ship, and you guys are ready to go.
Let's do it.
All right.
Hit it.
So while I'm convinced that like Lash has far more belongings than her crew, I just think things like a speeder cannon, not necessary for this mission.
You do have speeder bikes, but I don't know how well they work on a base.
Yeah.
Lash has some clothes and stuff that she's bought, but she's a runaway from home. She really doesn't have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, no. This is shit that her crew has just scavenged that we've found.
I thought you guys
So-
went shopping a couple times and bought some really
Yeah, we
nice
have.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, everyone has a poncho now because we did that. But yeah, so like, things the crew's not bringing: the speeder cannon, various parts,
Okay.
various weapon parts,
Okay.
the rest of the Zorgi hide, teeth, and claws.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's just got a trunk of just random crap. You just open it up. It is seriously like a 7-year-old's treasure box.
Yep. It's a big old cargo pod. All right. So you guys all get on the ship. Gangplank lifts up, and the ship. Who's piloting? It's got a +5 to pilot, so it's super easy, super smooth. This ship feels really slick compared to the Ripper. It just like picks up real nice and turn it, and it immediately, like as soon as it's power steering, like takes
Oh,
off.
sure. Yeah, sure. I'll fly, guys. Thanks.
Yeah. Goes up in the atmosphere real smooth. You guys get out, set the hyperspace coordinates, and it goes off. You guys are in the tunnel now. So we can yada yada a couple days with maybe one roll for things you want to do.
I think we have a pretty solid plan with the information that we have.
I just have one question. Does anyone else, other than her crew, trained in pilot? Okay. You and I are going to need to work opposite shifts then for driving.
I think once you get into hyperspace, you just let it go.
I think so too.
Yeah.
It's not too
Oh.
much.
All right, cool.
So I guess let's roll a use the force for training for those that you want to train with the holocron.
Okay.
13. That's pretty low for me.
Yeah, I rolled pretty low too.
Apparently
15.
We're fairly distracted
Right.
by our upcoming mission.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she kind of senses that and says, I think there's too much going on. Let's just work on meditation to calm ourselves and to clear out what's taking precedent over your training. So there's a lot of meditating and lifting things and moving them over and setting them down as opposed to calisthenics and things like that. Dodd, make a use computer roll to go through thousands and thousands of files, memory files.
Okay. 24. Don't I get some sort of bonus?
It should all be built in except for maybe
Plus
the
2.
visor. Okay.
Yeah. So
So you go,
26.
you set up parameters to search through everything from Goshi base, and you find out that usually when he docks, he's got a certain docking port that's just his, and when the doors open up, the droid comes out, and is usually met by another security droid, an HK droid, and he gives him a protocol, and the droid basically backs up and stands guard over the ship. And he goes
Okay.
in, and there's not a lot of him looking around. He's just usually focused on where he's going, and it seems to be it's most of the time he goes to his office, his home office or whatever it is there, and then does different things, pulls out food, that prepares things, dusts things off, that sort of stuff. And occasionally there's him talking to relaying information when Odont's busy, or Odont calls up and says, "I need this, set up." Then he goes and sets things up.
Okay. Interesting.
And from what you're getting of the base, it's very busy. There's a lot of people everywhere, and it's just hard to tell. You don't know if they're everyday people living there or if they're all like mercenaries. It's hard to get a vibe because he's just walking past people. So there's people crossing in front. Some have weapons, some don't. A lot of shipments, a lot of cargo being moved around. It seems like he stops every once in a while and a big cargo thing goes past him and he continues on, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Perception rolls, or perception roll for you while you're going through it.
Yep. Ooh, not stellar. 15.
Nothing really jumps out at you while you're going through all this.
Okay.
So that's day one, going through things. Mary, was there anything you wanted to do? Tinkering around the ship. This thing doesn't have grease splattered on things. Everything is like you open up a bay and like it's lit up inside and gorgeous. You're like, wow, this is a totally different way of living.
Yeah, I just kind of would be going over, like, I can't think of anything specifically I would want to be doing or, like, scheming. So just going over the ship and maybe being like, I wonder if any of this is worth, like, taking off of the ship and putting onto ours, like, later on when we're done with it.
Quite possibly. Let's see, what would that be? Oh, that's the wrong one. Where'd she go? I'd say boy, what am I looking for? What would you roll to remember that you have not spoken to your family in several days or several weeks, months, and that you were working on something?
Wait.
Wisdom? Charisma?
No, because I thought I had finished that letter. I thought one of the days when we were sitting around in the last week or so, I finally finished that and sent it off.
You found the chip, and you guys were sort of looking over.
No, I know. While we were in staying at the very swanky appointments, like, I sat down in a day.
Okay. Sent it off.
And I thought I had finished that letter and sent it off. I wasn't going to call, but I sent off a letter.
Okay. There's no diplomacy. I guess roll your persuasion. Let's see how well the document was written.
Not very. That's a 7.
Altogether?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I rolled a 3. That's a 7.
Oh no.
Okay. So it's kind of broken. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
And it took me days. I struggled with this a lot, and I finally just gave up, I think, and just sent it.
So there's parts where they're written, at one point you came back to it and you just started writing again, then you put it down, came back. So there's some repeats, that sort of thing, and it's sent off. So we'll see how long it takes it to get to them and respond. We'll say it got sent off yesterday.
Okay.
Jad, you're looking over all the firepower and everything. This thing was pretty set up. Let's see.
The ship itself is very well set up. What does it have in the way of personnel weapons?
Oh. It looks like it's mostly like small blasters. He's got about 12 firearms. So they're anything from like a blaster to the small diplomatic blasters and things like that.
All right.
Nothing crazy.
I'm just gonna call dibs on one of the. I think it's got an autocannon, doesn't it?
Ship itself has a light laser.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just go like sit down and tinker with it. Maybe shoot it off into space a few times.
Okay.
While we're traveling through hyperspace, just to fire off a few pot shots.
Yeah, why not?
Just someone is going to be like cruising, just like thinking they're do, and just this laser out of nowhere.
I'm
Just...
more inclined to think that it's classic, where he just shoots a couple times and you hear
You shoot, 30 seconds later, there's a Wilhelm scream.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we forced it into this episode.
Yep.
All right. Day 2. Let's use the Force again. See how training goes.
Also, yeah, I know we're yada-yadaing through this, but like, again, when I'm not training, because it's not all day, every day, I am trying to make friends with F7-2.
Yes.
And specifically, I would like to know about his relationship and thoughts on his old boss and how he believes his boss conducted himself.
So that's a persuasion.
Yeah.
Talking to him.
So we'll just knock that in for day 1, which, ooh, not bad. Where's persuasion? That's perception. Persuasion, here we go. 17.
Yeah. He doesn't think anything of it at all. He just relates everything to his duties, and his master was fair, and there was no threats or anything like that. So yeah, nothing crazy, nothing strange, out of the ordinary. He just used him as an attendant, basically.
Like strange, like disappearing Rhodians.
Right.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, back.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, and I'm not trying to like get dirt or anything like this. Just kind of like, hey, the people you work with, what were they like? Like the starting off the water cooler discussion here.
Yeah, it seems like he was treated pretty fairly. He wasn't put in danger or anything like that. Wasn't threatened. He had kind of run of the ship and the office when Odant wasn't there to kind of mind things.
And my last question, we'll call this the last question of day 1, would be, did he ever sit in on any of Odant's meetings?
Boy,
It's a good question.
no.
No?
No, he was always put out. If he was on meetings, it was like low-level people that he just had to record what was sort of going on. But other than that, nothing with any sort of security, anything high security. He was always sent out of the room.
Well, after we finish that, I'll say, like, it's time for me to go to sleep, be a friend of day 1, and I thank him for his time and for coming onto this wonderful trip with us.
Okay.
And I will see him tomorrow, and then I go to sleep.
Did you program everyone to be his master or just you?
Yeah, everyone.
Okay. So next morning you guys get up and breakfast is ready, set out for everybody.
Use the forces.
Yeah, go ahead and use the Force, see how training goes this day.
I got a 22 today.
I make some wry comments about the breakfast service, and remind myself to keep this F7-2 when we leave the ship behind.
I got an 18, so not much better, but better.
Doing better. Yeah, you guys, it's an average day of training. This is more of a workout, handstands, running, that sort of thing. Some jumps, but nothing that uses the Force to propel you or anything like that. So,
I mean, we only got like an 8-foot ceiling. There's not a whole lot of jump.
After Lash is done with her Jedi training for the day, she wants to gather up everybody when it's convenient and sit down and, we have a basic plan here, but we probably need a cover story for if we get questioned by anybody of what we're doing here.
Like it. It's a smart idea. I sit down and relay the information about how the typical departure goes once he lands. Usually it comes down the ramp, the droid's first. Droid gives the clearance to a security droid on the other side. That security droid then guards the ship. Then he walks down this corridor, and I'll project it on a screen. I'm assuming we got a 3D hologram thing somewhere. And if you look, it looks like there's traffic here. There's traffic here. And then finally he gets to his office. Once we're at the office, and that's his typical routine, that's when I feel like the heavy lifting is going to start. So, any ideas from the ramp going to get to the office?
Well, this is kind of what was going on in my head. Based off what we saw back with, so there's Odon, which is this guy, and Haru, who was our friend, right?
Right.
Right. So based off of his meeting with Haru and the kind of accommodations he keeps, it looks like he mostly deals with people like Lash. You know, they had who wear fine clothes and call as you could say the person who calls the shots. So, could Lash maybe not pose as one of those people?
A dignitary?
Yes, yeah, I brought my fancy clothes so I could be like bodyguard.
And I think the rest of us could probably fill in as the retinue of the Bothan diplomat that has arrived.
Yep.
I think that's an excellent cover.
We need to have a good reason why he's not with us, though.
We're waiting for him to come back. You gifted him a fine vessel.
Okay. Sounds reasonable.
I mean, you've got more money than sense, clearly. If you're giving Odont cool spaceships and not me.
But
But
that sounds like good cover. And he sent us ahead to enjoy the accommodations of the station while they get his the licensing taken care of his new ship, and he's about a day behind us.
so the first thing that I'm thinking, if we're talking about, okay, so once we've established our cover, should anyone ask, that's going to be the cover. And what is going to be your name? The lady.
Oh, now you're putting me on the spot to come up with a name. The Lady Martise.
The Lady Martise. And she is of Bothwy,
Yes.
but she's had some dealings with who?
She is one of the new contacts for medical supplies for the planet that's at war.
Okay. Okay. We are in hyperspace right now, but I would like to try to use my network and my hacking skills to come up with some credentials for her that that could be on some sort of database that they would. First off, can I create some credentials while I'm on board the ship that will look somewhat official, so that unless someone does a fairly serious search,
Boy. You wouldn't be able to produce any hard copy stuff, but you possibly could insert her into the net if you wanted.
okay.
You would probably have to drop out of hyperspace to do any sort of communication, because it seems like that's always cut off when people are in hyperspace.
Right. I think we could spare an hour or so to do that.
Okay.
I think
Can
it's
I
worth
just
it.
say
Yeah.
that there is a nefariousness to the idea of somebody dealing in medical supplies when you're already selling guns to both sides of a conflict. Now you
It's a
can
good
sell.
new angle.
It's,
Yeah.
That's what
I
James
like it.
Moriarty
Yeah.
did.
Yeah,
Genius.
it's,
Yeah.
Genius.
It's a
James
fat
Moriarty
way-
controlled the cotton, the linen, and the bullets in when they did the World War II stories.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it. That's fine.
Yeah, there's something really sinister about it. No, you're right.
You're welcome.
Yeah, clever.
So I guess while you're in hyperspace, you can do all the pre-work, take your
And then I can
picture,
just hit
yeah,
enter.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
and then install all that stuff. Have all the pages ready or whatever, and then when you guys come out, you can just upload everything and then maybe continue on.
So obviously, the rest of the team here understands that my priority will be to capture that HK droid as soon as we land. Are any of you going to talk me out of trying to get someone to reprogram it as soon as we get there? Perhaps you should tell me that I should have some temperance and wait till we're on our way out. But I need you to know right now that I'm hungry for that droid. And I want to take it over as soon as we get there.
Crew's used all of the big brain power he can, so like we're now running into that whole player versus character separation. So I'm gonna just mute myself for that conversation.
Oh, Jad's all for getting it right away.
Okay. Good. Me too. All right. Hopefully, I'll be able to talk myself out of it by the time we get there. Meanwhile, let's take some photos of the Lady Martise
Okay.
and get them to look perfectly sinister.
It's several wardrobe changes to get like different settings and
right.
things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The proper profiteer garb.
Right.
She did say she brought her suitcase of everything.
Right.
Yes.
So, says 17 plus 15 is what? 32 plus 2? 34. Do I need a
That's-
force roll?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Usually 30 is the top upper limit for stuff like that, especially for most 1 or 2 level people who might be researching. They're gonna come up with that.
I don't want to do too good of a job because then all of a sudden there will be warrants for your arrest. There will be bounty hunters looking
Possibly.
for
Possibly.
your fur to line their new
Yeah.
cool coats.
All the
Yeah.
phone calls keep coming in for medical supplies, months later.
Right. Right.
Super soft.
Yep.
and we have a truckload full of self-sealing stem bolts.
So Rura and Jad, you want to do anything this last day of hyperspace?
No.
Okay.
Not particularly.
Okay. Do you want to drop out now before the day's
Might as
over,
well.
Before we get too close.
and then
yeah.
jump back in? Okay. Whoever is flying, stars come back in, and you guys are dropping out. It's an empty part of space.
Is the crew flying?
Either you or her crew.
Yeah, the crew will be flying. Sure, why not?
So
I don't-
make your use computer roll to upload everything.
Okay. Here we go. Ooh, 18. Plus 15
Yeah.
is 33. Plus 2 is 35.
Yeah. It goes on. You're able to insert it in and make it look like it's been there for years pretty
Okay.
easily. You also have an incoming message in your
Ooh.
mailbox.
Check message.
It's from Arla, and it's the spike data.
Excellent. I pull out the spike that I have and socket it into the system and download it.
It uploads right
And-
away. And
Think to myself, that HK droid at the end of the stairs could be mine. Just one swift movement of this.
Yep.
Or I should wait.
No, let's get it right away.
all right. So it takes about
I really want to.
10 minutes. You guys are ready to go again and jump back into your hyperspace lane for another couple hours. Eventually, you guys arrive and come out, and there's a spaceship or space station looming up ahead, and lots of traffic around this thing. It's not gigantic, but it's pretty good size.
All right.
And
Go on.
the protocol droid says docking bay whatever is our normal
All right,
spot.
crew 2187. Head that way.
Yeah, I follow the protocol.
Okay. As you guys are approaching, there's no director or space.
It is just assumed. We're
Yeah.
not challenged.
Right.
Gotcha.
The place is, as you get closer and closer, it has guns and stuff on it, so it is ready to repel. And it looks like they've been added after the fact, aftermarket.
Gotcha.
But this thing is huge. It's kind of shaped like a wide saucer in the middle with two spikes, which are the docking flanges, and then it's got a huge sort of spire that goes up. It almost looks like a top, spinning top.
Okay.
So
The other traffic that's there, do we see any logos of corporations or...
perception roll.
Okay. Ooh, I hope somebody else is looking too. 14.
You see a lot of Tatari symbols on ships.
Okay.
You're having trouble making out. You're seeing like one or two unmarked ships or ships with different markings on it. You're not familiar what they are. You're not nothing's popping out to you. Like that's the Genocorp or whatever. But there's lots of freighters and things like that going around. It takes a couple minutes, and you guys enter into the docking, and it's kind of on the end, on one side, and you guys fly up and latch onto the side. It's like a docking ring, like in Deep Space Nine, and it's up to you guys. The protocol droid automatically walks toward the airlock.
Real quick question. What is Lash's cover name in this again?
Lady Marti.
Yep.
And I assumed with all this, you told the droid sort of what the overall
so
plan
that's
is.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was about to do. Since the droid, kind of knows his business, I'm gonna ask him in very etiquette-driven fashion if he can kindly escort us to Odon's office
So
for our meeting.
So real quick, when we are after we land, Hakru is going to quickly, or I guess before we land, Hakru is going to put on the fancy clothes.
Okay.
So he's going to like shower, put on the fancy clothes. He's going to openly wear the heavy blaster pistol on his hip. He is going to conceal the vibro dagger like in a pant leg.
Okay.
And then he would also like to conceal one of the regular blaster pistols just on his body.
Okay.
I know when going through the data, Dad didn't get a great look at like how many people or who was on the station. But was there a sense of how armed anybody was as they went around the general population?
I think his perception roll was kind of slow on that end, so he missed it.
It was pretty bad. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a lot of the droid looking down where it was going, and then moving out of the way of things as it walked around. So a lot of like streaking back and forth and looking down. That it's hard to see.
Jad's gonna wear his poncho with the bowcaster underneath.
Hakru has just seen a guard before, and so he's like, "Oh yes, they hid the display weapon here." But also, Hakru is a shit, so he's like, "Hide a weapon here, hide a weapon here."
Yeah.
Nuts over in this bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's too much, too out of place for me to have like a regal guard and also a mercenary with a poncho.
Yeah.
That would probably be fairly normal.
Right. No, I was just curious as to if we knew whether or not we would attract attention just by carrying weapons or not. But I mean,
I don't know how universal the joke of a dog and a cat walking to a space station is.
We're about to find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I guess it's probably a good idea to list what we have with us.
Yeah. Is it bowcaster concealable though?
Ooh.
Those
If you're a
ponchos are pretty
Rhodian
big, I
and
was
you're
thinking.
wearing a
Serious.
big baggy poncho,
Yeah, I mean, it'd be like,
But it's like trying to conceal a rifle under a poncho.
I mean, it's a
It's
crossbow.
like trying to conceal a crossbow under a poncho, and that's
Yeah.
a lot bigger than a rifle in terms of like
Yeah.
Yeah.
bulk.
I was thinking of length, but no, you're right, because there's the actual cross section of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
so is the question whether or not it's actually concealed? Because I don't think that Jed actually cares
Right.
if it is concealed.
That's
just-
that's probably true.
Yeah, I think it's more of the affectation of, I'm wearing a crossbow. I should probably wear something to cover it up a little bit.
I don't want to frighten people too bad.
Right.
Because all I'm thinking is like Wookiees are huge, and they use two hands to hold it.
Yeah.
It doesn't weigh a whole lot. The size is medium though, so I don't know.
It's up to you guys. I feel like it would be hidden, but or at least enough under the poncho that it wouldn't. It may look like I have something under the poncho, but
Yeah, it could look
you
like
know,
a
you
backpack.
don't know
Anybody-
what- Yeah.
Anybody paying close attention would probably notice it, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But otherwise, who cares?
Right.
We're a bunch of freaking mercenaries and criminals.
So,
Like, at any point in my research, did I ever get the idea? Whoever I just interrupted, I'm really, really sorry.
sure.
But did I ever get the impression that the Tatari have legitimate business interests anywhere?
If they do, it seems like a means to something else.
Okay. So it would be like a shell company or a front.
Or
yeah.
or they own
Spree has disposable weapons. That's what this is.
or they own holdings in like, some parts of a weapon manufacturer, that sort of thing.
Okay. I will pay attention to signs on, overpass, over doors or on walls. If I start seeing some stuff that say, no weapons in the blah,
Right.
blah, blah section, or
Yeah.
no smoking in the green section.
Yeah. And as you're loaded up on weapons, the droid doesn't seem to mind at all. Like it's not
Okay.
something that's even concerning him.
So Lash's outfit, just for some fun description, is kind of like a long dress with a corset up top that connects to like some kind of device that holds up a hood, in like this really interesting regal looking decoration. But it's also concealing her lightsaber, the device that's like over her shoulder.
Okay.
And you'd really have to dig in to find out what that actually is, but it looks like a piece of her garments.
A more believable version of how Wonder Woman hid the sword.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else? Everyone's got their weapons and everything on them they want to use or bring with them.
Yeah, I'm not carrying the spear, but I've got the blaster strapped on and otherwise.
Okay. All right.
A crew would grab his toolkit
Okay.
because it's not huge, but
Right.
I also have my security kit.
Okay. All right.
naked.
The doors open on the airlock, and the droid ducks as he kind of walks out because it's not huge. And as he starts to turn and walk, you guys follow out, and there's an HK droid. State your business, and it says, This is Odant's entourage. We've returned, and we'll be going back to pick him up in a few days. With that, the droid stops for a second, and then he backs up. Make a perception roll for you droid lovers.
I did just do, if I like droids,
Yeah.
I can roll?
Yeah.
Okay.
I see it. I rolled
18
20?
plus 9,
30.
27.
32, 27. You notice that this droid has an attached backpack with an antenna on it. So this droid is networked. Whatever it sees, apparently that whoever's controlling them sees it as well.
Okay. I do not make a move
Right.
towards
right.
this thing at this point.
With that, you would surmise that if this droid was shot or went down, whoever's controlling it would know
Immediately.
and send people. Yeah. So maybe on the way out, catch it by surprise or something and knock it out. But then,
Or maybe from
Take
the
off.
office we discover how the security network works.
yeah. Yep.
Meanwhile, I look at it appraisingly, and then I continue walking.
It's seen some damage. It's got a
Yeah.
couple battle scars on it. It's been around a while, mainly
Okay.
more than anything. So, with that, you guys walk down. It's a large hallway, and in between some of the docking ports, it's rooms. It's cabins or whatever it is, and this place is painted and it's not kept up, but it's very vividly colorized,
Someone cares about it. Is what you're saying.
or did at one time.
Okay.
And there are people walking, passing you as you start walking in closer, and they're going into the rooms and coming out. A lot of them seem like, over half of them seem like just normal people. There's some kids running around, that sort of thing.
Okay. Note to self: no bombs.
One of the kids seems to be wearing like an inflatable tube around his waist and some flippers on his feet, running around. You're kind of passing people, and this is very odd. Like, what kind of criminal base is this? And you guys keep walking, and as you come into this opening, which it seems like the hallway is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, it's a huge archway. This is some sort of not run down, but not particularly kept up amusement park or theme park or vacation spot. And in the middle is this huge, nice, beautiful spire that goes up into the top. And so you see rides on one side. Off in the distance, you see sort of like a water park going on.
It's a small world playing right
Lots
now.
of gardens. Yeah, on the sides. And there's small like huts set up where people are doing trading or buying and selling things.
Are people riding the rides and
Occasionally.
attending the?
Occasionally,
Okay.
yeah. It's not like a regular, like it's being used specifically for that, but it seems like every once in a while, a roller coaster goes off, or
So we have found the Space Mall of America.
basically. That's
Wally
exactly what it is. It's more Space Mall than Disneyland.
Have any of you been to the Mall of America, 494 and 35? Okay.
Yep,
Not
I have been up to Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Pretty cool
I-
place.
those little-
I know exactly where we are now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly where we are too, and I think it's so hysterical that it's a crew that's there.
Seriously, this is not the scene that I thought that I'd see in Star Wars, but
So alien to him,
it's so perfect.
we even react.
Yeah.
So Regal, we continue being Regal,
Okay.
Yeah.
except for maybe the blood on the teeth of Hakuru.
Yeah. And you,
Let's keep going.
Oh, because the thing is, everything for her crew has been alien since Dathomir. He thinks this is just a place.
right.
The new normal every 10 minutes
Yeah.
for him.
Exactly.
So as you guys are walking, there's people moving things around. It looks like family groups. It looks like you see mercenary groups moving around too, and you see very nefarious people, and half of the people are armed. They've all got weapons on. It's like a spaceport.
How do the common looking folk, the regular folk, how do they react to the mercenary units?
They just kind of get out of their way.
Okay.
Like they recognize who they are and stand aside as they kind of go through. But they're not like marching. They're like talking and that sort of thing.
Sure.
So
this-
at that point, Lash kind of is incognito as she possibly can, like tilts her head back to Jad or to Dodd and says, "All right, we need to be on high alert. This is obviously a cover. This is basically a human shield situation."
Definitely a human shield situation. I would agree. But also,
Humans make terrible shields. They're small. Lasers go right through them.
so this will change some of our objectives. But let's get to the office and discuss this.
Okay.
We're expecting that transmission from the boss soon.
Yeah. And again, while we're being really quiet, she's like, this place seems to be fully networked, so be careful what you say here.
Yeah. Roger that.
Yeah. And as you guys are walking
Roger,
through,
Roger.
there's an amphitheater on one side. It's like a half seashell looking thing. This place is just set up for everything. There's a food court. There's several bars around. It's just
It's ridiculous.
yeah. So you guys walk up
Like
to the main.
I expected Roadhouse, and what we got was Best Buy.
Right. Yeah. So you guys get up to the tower and go in, and it's a hotel. There's a check-in desk, and the droid just keeps going, and he walks up to the elevators and motions them, and the lift doors open, and it's nice. There's music playing, carpet everywhere. It doesn't look like it looks like this has been kept up more than the rest of the place.
Okay. I'm going to continue my demeanor of being a guy that is pretending not to be impressed, but like looking at things naively.
Okay.
You know?
All right. The lift doors close, and you guys go all the way up to the penthouse.
The spire?
Yep. Doors open, and this is all like not glass ceilinged, and it's stars and everything outside. There's lights and stuff inside, but it looks beautiful in here. This is crazy.
Wow.
It's a penthouse. It's a penthouse. So it is a huge living space with, an office off to the side, several, bedrooms, that sort of thing.
So Lash is going to reach out with the Force and see if she can determine if there's any other people, any other sentient people in that penthouse.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to get out my tricorder
Yeah.
and do the same thing.
I rolled a natural 20, which will end up being a 31.
Sense 4, sense
Nice.
surroundings. Yeah, it's only 15. You sense through, and there's nothing else on this level. There's no one else in it. No one hiding or anything like that.
So Lash, like it looks over her shoulder and says, "Again, be on the alert for what you say, but I don't feel that there's anybody here. There may be droids. Keep on."
Well, we're expecting that important call from the boss. I look kind of surreptitiously around for the computer console.
F7 turns to you and says, "There are no droids kept on this level except for me, and there is no surveillance of these quarters."
F7, I appreciate you. Then I immediately go back to investigating.
He says,
to see if there's surveillance.
would you like to stay in these quarters, or would you like me to get you accommodations one floor below?
I believe the lady should stay in these quarters with her direct guard. I'll be happy to stay in a room below,
I will arrange it.
unless the lady prefers that I stay around on this level.
She looks at you in front of the etiquette droid, and she's like, "I believe you can handle the finities," and she just kind of walks away, like she doesn't even care about that. You can handle it.
I will see to your needs, my lady. And I take my little spike and stick it into the computer thing and get my visor out and searching for the security system on this floor.
It seems like his computer is all access. So when you go up and you start to put the spike in, the protocol droid puts his hand up and types a few things, and it opens up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I don't even have to. Okay. So it's just a matter of knowing where to search.
Right.
Okay.
He says
Well,
he can access anything from here, except for maybe security, because that's on its own network.
Of course. Is there any way to tie this system into the security system?
He says the only way that he knows to access the security would be to go down to the sub-level where security is and directly interface with either the droid or his computer system.
Do you, F7, have the passcodes to get me down there?
So certainly.
Excellent. Keep those handy. I may need them shortly.
Very well.
Look at the rest of the team. What do you guys got?
Lash is just going to kind of walk around the room. I'm going to roll perception, just looking for things that may be out of place, things that might be of value, data that would be interesting, looking for keywords about Rom Pow maybe, or any kind of data pads that might be laying around.
Okay. Yeah, you do. He's got lots of expensive looking stuff in here. Either taken or bought, you're not sure. He's got a couple cases with things in them. You find a piece of Tor on his desk, and he's got several pads. It looks like they're all divided up into different endeavors. So he's got Tor and everything on that one. He's got Rompao on the other one. He's got his holdings in manufacturing of weapon scopes and things like that on another.
I will take care of erasing Haru's stuff from the Tor endeavors.
Okay, these are little pads. These are like notepads. So his computer is probably where the main frame that's being. It's like you upload it. You set the little pad down and it uploads it to it. And he can walk around and read it and things like that.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So yeah, I guess it's kind of
That's like Star Trek.
If everything we're doing is with his computer, it's whoever's sitting at his computer gets to do everything.
Yeah.
But at the very least, the one that has the Tor stuff on it, I can delete that.
Yeah, or you can look at it, figure out what needs to be deleted, and that way he can or you can go to the computer and just quickly
I'll do that.
delete stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll edit his spreadsheets.
right. Or make notes,
Is there a
or
way-
save it. I mean, you can save that pad for taking somewhere else and have that knowledge always.
Hopefully not.
It's specifically so. That's what I was trying to say. Hakru would be specifically interested in following up with Haru's request of removing Haru's
Right.
name and information from stuff.
Right. And you
That's what he would be trying to do.
you find all the information he knows on Doghi, who's in charge, the person he put in charge there. Looks like it was a direct order of his. Notes and things like that. How embarrassed he was that she got caught and removed, and there's no plans to rescue her. I think they just imprisoned her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I edit it so it says that Dogheed has dried up.
Right. Yep.
So like they have no more interest in Dogheed whatsoever. It's like, yeah, the vein's tapped. It's done.
And you've got the third party that you were supposed to sell the tour through that you guys skipped and went to Haro. So you've got all that information. It looks like everything about Haro's construction company when it's related to Tor is on this pad. Like details, like money, shipments. And you
I wonder if that's duplicated on the main machine
Yeah.
too while they were talking.
Yeah. Make a perception roll as you're going through this data.
24,
I'm going to use my
25.
reroll.
Okay.
That's better. 28.
28. You don't find the Ripper, you don't find any of your names, but you do find notes about a ship that of a crew of people that landed and helped Doghi. But there's like, who are these people? What's going on with this? Need to investigate
And-
more, but nothing was followed up.
Okay.
So as far as
I don't think
crew,
we delete that. We change that.
okay, I was going to say, as far as the
Change
crew is
that.
concerned, it's literally just the stuff that was requested. He's very straightforward. So if anybody else was to take it and go with,
Why don't, just for fun, we enter the information of Hakru's nemesis, Dathamiri friend.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you mention her and like whatever hair like Hakru has is like is standing up. He's just like, interesting.
Makes his horns tingle.
His horns droop. Yeah. Yeah. See?
Excellent idea.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Yeah, you can edit and do it whatever you want with this data. If you want to
Okay.
work it out on the pad and then attach it back to the mainframe and have it upload and replace all the information, that's probably pretty easy to do too.
Yeah, that's what Hakru will work on. He'll take those suggestions. He'll enter in all of the information that he knows. He'll make all those edits, and then when it's his turn to use the computer, he'll upload it.
Okay.
All right, Hakru, we also need the information on that planet and the stock of weaponry going back and forth. Any kind of evidence that you can supply that proves that both sides are being played off of each other.
Yeah, see if you can find communications between Odont and the purchasing leadership from Rompao on both sides.
Okay. Hakru will work on that, and he'll also try to find like a spare data pad. I don't know how many this guy has, and literally any of the information we need, where any information that we want to keep, Hakru is going to copy that straight to a data pad.
Okay. When it comes to that evidence, though, we need to find a way to present it in a way that couldn't be manufactured. It must be certifiable, must be provable.
Yeah, it's a copy, no edits.
Hollow records, if there was hollow calls, stuff like that.
Sure. What do you want me to roll to find that? And then Mary tried to chime in.
Yeah, Mary, what'd you have in mind?
Yeah, I was going to say, while people are digging around computers, is there any way that somebody could dig through the computer, because I'm not very good at it, but download onto a data pad as much of the plans of the station as you can find, like layout, floors, what's where,
Yeah, that's
any
pretty easy.
parts of the security system, so that we can be going over it, like just learn what the station is while you're doing all that?
So I know Dodd was sitting at the computer working on some stuff. And that's why Hakru started going through data pads.
Right.
So if Dodd wants to take that over, he can. And I just need to know what my role.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm easy either way.
Quick computer
that's
use.
kind of what I was just going to ask somebody to download that onto something that I could be like, just real quick while you're sitting there, can I have this? And then get back to what you're doing.
What's
Yeah,
the etiquette?
33, 35.
Yeah, you get the very detailed plans of the station when it was constructed, all that stuff.
Maybe the first owner.
Yeah, you get this thing is the history of it is it was a luxury sort of site for people to go to, and about a year or two ago it got bought out, and then it was transferred without being purchased to Odont, basically.
I feel like we should transfer it back.
Well,
You do a little research, and it was to a hut.
I think we should not transfer it back.
Yeah, I think we should hold off on that type of thing so far.
or transfer it to somebody else that we like that wants to make some money on a
Or we
base
find out who that
knowledge
hut's rival
feature.
is
Yeah.
and transfer it to that hut's rival.
Or you could just transfer it to Dodd, and he can run the station.
Yeah, I like it. We could do that too. Always wanted an amusement park.
So
Quick search through in the hut that comes up. One of those three names that you guys have been sort of trying to track,
Circling.
that
Yeah.
comes up. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
I need to use the restroom real quick, so I will
Okay.
be right back.
yeah, if we can take a quick pause, I need to go some water too.
Okay.
Yeah, I will take advantage of a pause.
Might as well too. But also not to throw a monkey wrench into things. My used computer for the evidence gathering.
Yes.
24.
Okay. You find what he has done is he has. Well, I guess I should wait till everybody comes back.
This is true.
So Hakru rolled a 24 on his perception. What would you roll it on?
Use computer to find and copy the evidence that we're looking for.
That's right. You find that he has set up two separate weapons companies that he is buying. One is for one side and one is for the other, and they have two distinct different looks to them, so they're easy to differentiate. And there is a bit of a paper trail, but there's one where is he looking over the weapons? He's recording the final product and going over the final costs to get it to, set up. And he does it with each vendor. So, yeah, they're two separate files, 2 different days or whatever, but it's basically him talking to the vendor about holding up the weapon and looking at the distinctions and going over things like that. He doesn't say anything like he's selling it to two people on the same planet, but it's very obvious that these weapons are marked for the same place, are marked for to be recognized by one group. Yeah, same with the other one. So that if they
Right,
get
so
taken
it's-
over, they could say, "Hey, these weapons are coming. These are the enemy weapons." That sort of thing.
Right, and with people who've been fighting long enough, the Allies knew what a Luger looked like.
Right. And he's also
So
set it up on a ramping up scale of increased viciousness or lethality. So these things, they're eventually going to start introducing like
Rockets.
rocket launchers,
disintegrator type
yeah,
things.
yeah, bigger and bigger weapons to like tanks. He's got it all timelined out when he thinks that he can introduce them, and it looks like the timeline is buying one ahead of time from one, and then a couple weeks to a month later buying it from the other one. So
No disintegration.
right, so they're separate, but if you line them up, it looks like he's toggling back and forth, increasing one side, and then increasing the other one later on down the road.
Is it convincing?
The holographic information of him going over the weapons would be pretty damning, especially if both sides were shown both at the same time.
Okay. So we've got the information we need to use to take to the planet. Do you guys feel satisfied with that, or do you think we need more?
We need our
I
droid.
think- I think
Yes.
that that's great. Now, Lash is going to say, here's the question. Do we transmit this stuff to Haro now from here, or do we just try to get out of here and escape with this evidence?
I think we
Both,
want
both things
to.
are risky.
Yeah, I think I'd prefer to leave here with the evidence rather than give the station some means with which to track the information back to Haro. Does that
I
make
agree.
sense?
I
Okay.
agree, but the only the downside to that is if something happens between here and home with us, this is all gone.
Well, we're just going to have to make sure that doesn't happen. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. She points out, she's like, I my heckles are raised. This is a little too easy. I'm feeling nervous.
I understand that.
I would only say this is really easy because we happened to kidnap the guy who owns the station.
This
I
is
still
true.
think, I still think
So it
5
may-
strangers in his office might raise some eyebrows. So we might want to consider some expediency.
Yeah, I'm ready to get out of here, and I wonder if they're gonna have a problem with that.
Well,
Getting in
long
was
as we
easy.
have- As long as we have his protocol droid and access to his computer system, I
and a good
don't
cover story.
know that. I don't anticipate the problems, but I don't also mind the getting out of here more quickly.
I'd like to download all of his emails and transactions as well.
Okay. Use
or
use
whatever
computer.
passes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. 20, 28, 29, 30. 30. Right at.
It's very easy to copy all the information off his computer if you wanted. In one
Okay.
fell swoop.
We'll parse through that later.
Yep. About that time, the door chime goes off,
Uh-oh.
and the protocol droid starts moving toward it.
Are we expecting company, F7?
I took the liberty of ordering food for everyone.
Okay. I look across the room and I say, Jad, Hakru, either side of that door.
Yeah, I was already on it, getting my blaster out.
Yeah, her crew wasn't going to draw his gun, but he was going to go be a guard and go stand next to the door, in full line of sight, behind the protocol droid.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not in line of sight. I'm off to the side like this, just waiting for him
Yep.
to walk out.
I'm staying close to Lashar.
And I am sitting at the computer.
Okay. Those that you can see, the door opens, and it's a young girl, and she's got a small tray that she's got on rollers. And the protocol droid walks out and thanks her and gets the tray and rolls it in, and she just leaves. The door
That's
shuts
it?
back closed.
No gratuity, no nothing.
Not for the owner. Not for the owner.
Are we the owner? Could we be the owner? Like, seriously, Dodd considers this for a minute. Is it possible with this level of access to change the ownership
Yeah.
to us?
The only thing is if Odant showed up again, that would be a problem.
Yeah, I
But
was
he's
gonna say,
not, I don't think Haro's going to let this guy go.
so far, we've been fairly quiet with the things that we've done. That's probably something that might send a flag.
Yeah. We're
Flag
talking
with the
about
huts, you mean?
Well, just through the station, you know,
Yeah.
that's communication that would probably be a little bit farther reaching than us just copying some data.
we now know the name of this hut, right?
Oh yeah, that's where we had taken a brief moment there. I think Kirk was gonna.
The name you
spell
got.
that.
The name you got was Shaba.
Shaba. Yeah, we had that before. I remember the name.
What if instead of taking ownership, we change all of his passwords?
Is something that only we have?
Exactly, because
So
it's
then-
quiet, so it's not going to raise a stink. We can figure out what Haru is going to do with the other guy, and this way, because if this guy is Chitauri, well, you know he's Chitauri, so
Yeah.
that means the Chitauri know about this base. So it's not just some matter of taking it from him; it's taking it from the Chitauri, and they will notice. But if we change his passwords, now he just looks incompetent.
That's true. But I don't think he's leaving Haro's guest room. Not for a very, very long time.
And if we change the
Yeah, wait.
passwords, I'm sorry, I'm going to be quiet. Go.
Somebody's gonna be coming to look for him. I mean, he's obviously important.
We should have.
Just make us look like put us into the systems like as admins, as associates, like just build our way into the computer, a level of trust that we would have with Odant
Yeah.
that the system would recognize and therefore the station.
Yeah.
Make him
Create
make
a
us part of his
background.
contacts and
Yeah.
So
We
Mary
can
was a
make it in-
Romulan in a past life, by the way. I just figured that out. I will roll to try to
Yeah.
start adding some executive members to the board here.
Credentials.
We
What do
also
I need?
do it in such a way that that Odant wouldn't be able to remove us.
right. I was gonna say, make sure that it's aliases.
Yeah.
Okay.
If Odant shows back up, he could retcon everything. He could pull everything back. So this,
Right.
going forward, this is him never returning. Either you fake his death or whatever you got to do.
I mean,
Gotta-
you know, he retires on some other off-world amusement park.
Yeah.
Just he got.
First,
some
not opposed to just sending this, putting him onto his ship and just sending him into an asteroid field. The crew's fine with that.
Yeah, I'm not so crazy about murder unless we gotta kill him. But
Yeah. Flash isn't either.
but I sure
He
wouldn't
will
mind.
lie, but he will kill you in your sleep.
I gotta tell you guys, I'm really fascinated with the idea of making it look like he was up to something that would get him really hated by his patrons currently, right? Like
Sure.
he was trying to undercut the hut somehow.
That's probably doable.
That would be easy to do.
Yeah,
Kinda
but I need
skimming-
an
some
idea.
kind of
as to
skimming or
how.
something.
Yeah, well, I don't think skimming would be enough. I think you're on the right track. But
Well,
something.
since we're already pointing fingers at the Night Sister, Maybe we point a few more. Maybe he sent her to stir up trouble on Dagheed, so that way he could increase his own influence there. He's trying to take over the entire Tor operation under himself.
How do we know it's not already his?
Right.
Right.
He was in charge of it.
Sending out a bounty hunter to kill a hut would definitely get you in deep shit.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, F7. It's a quality idea.
I mean, that's just, that could be, a death threat or a death, and actually just send it out. So put out
Yeah, it would have to be
put out a quiet bounty.
Do I have access to this guy's
There you
account?
Yeah.
I've got all of this money that we could transfer into our account right now. No, we can't
That's
do that
traceable.
because that's traceable.
But you can put it
Oh,
as a literal bounty. Like
But I
you can
can
right
do
now.
that.
He just hires anybody who can.
Right.
First come,
Yes.
first served.
Or you could siphon off a
Wait.
good amount of money at once for you guys if you wanted, and just put it on a cred chip. I mean, that's
Right.
from
That-
his office.
We wouldn't want to be the.
personal expenses.
Right. It's
We
I
not
think it'd be
wouldn't wanna be
nice to
the,
be able to
one-
give Haro some money back for the work that he's got and the fact that he got his place blown up.
Yeah.
All right, so I will do the first thing that I'm going. Well, I guess let's plan it ahead. I'm going to add credentials for us as aliases into the system so that we can come back,
Okay.
granting ourselves some sort of access and control.
Putting yourselves in like a will, I guess, in case he does turn
Yeah.
up dead, that it shifts to
Right.
you. Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to give it to Marti,
Okay.
the lady Marti.
And are we putting a bounty on the hut?
Not yet, but yes. Do you like that idea, Jed?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. And
Do
that's
we
what
have to
we'll do.
explain to Jad that he doesn't have to go do it himself? Like,
Oh, wait, what?
I think you just ruined his fun. Okay.
No. Jad is fully aware that if we put
Oh,
if we put a hit out on a hut and like put the hit out for us to have the contract, that the hut would also kill us. No, we're not going to deal with that.
Okay.
And you,
But if we do end up killing this hut, we can then collect.
yeah,
True.
Interesting.
you might
Maybe
want,
that's an end game kind of thing.
you might
Right.
you might want to quietly hire an assassin to do it as opposed to putting out a bounty. You contact one person and set it up that way. That would probably be a lot more secure.
So access to the dark web is what we need.
Yeah. Or
At any rate,
Check
for
us-
setting up credentials, I've got a 34.
okay,
we're on a station full of mercenaries and pirates.
he may
Maybe easier than the dark web.
have
May have
files.
contacts.
He may have files. Yeah. Look
Yeah.
through his contact book.
Okay.
You may have assassins on retainer.
Right.
Yeah.
Assassin. What do we got?
There are mercenaries. There are 20 mercenaries that he has listed, and out of that, 15 are assassins.
Yeah. That's great.
And out of that, he has 9 that are sort of off the books, that are not tied to him or the Tatari.
Okay, we don't want those. We want the ones that are tied to the Tatari,
Okay.
right? Is that wrong? No?
One or three of these.
Andrew, you're paused.
One or three of these huts runs the Tatari. So do you want to hire one of their guards to
Off books, it is. Got
Yeah.
it. Okay.
be confident that
I'd
you won't
also
tell?
like to send out a delayed transmission with the offer so that we've got enough time to get back to the ship and leave the port before the offer goes out. So can I do that?
Your, F7 says I can do that on his behalf right before we enter hyperspace.
Okay, that works. I'll put that together and I'm going to start penning those messages.
Okay.
And I'm going to select 7 of the 9.
Okay. How
Because-
much do you want to put on them?
How much does this guy got? More to the point, do I know how much an assassination on a hut usually would cost? I mean, we've got to be talking some extravagant money. 50,000, 70,000, 100,000,
I'm thinking like quarter
200,000,
mil.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a lot.
250,000 then.
I mean, it doesn't matter. It's Odon's money.
Right.
Yeah, but he's got to have it in the bank. That's the problem.
And I've got to make it look realistic too.
Right.
Because no one puts a hit on a credit card. Okay, you
Right.
do that in cash.
Odont has about 48 million at his fingertips.
Okay.
Without going and selling off holdings, selling off the base, all that stuff. So
What do you guys think the going rate for killing a hut is?
use computer.
All right. 1921.
It looks like for high level criminal bosses that you've seen in the past, it's about 5 million. Untraceable credits.
So
if
we
you
need
can always,
35 million.
yeah, you can always pay more if you want.
No, we'll go with the standard rate because Odont is cheap.
Okay. 5 million.
If he's cheap, then wouldn't he do like mill up front, rest on completion?
Yep, good point. We'll editing the text to say that.
Okay.
1 million up front, 4 million 4 million additional if you accomplish the mission.
Yep.
Okay.
Are you going to inform the assassins that there are other assassins out on the job?
Hell no. That's even more fun, right? Don't you guys think?
Well,
We're
compete.
gonna have 5 assassins out there. And then
7.
Seven assassins.
I thought he only had 5 million in the bank.
48
No, no,
million.
Oh,
It's
48.
48 million. We need to
5
take.
million for the guy. Okay,
We're taking 7 mil out to put a hit on one of his bosses.
there you go.
Yeah,
7 million.
I like this. Okay, so we've got
1
the
million up
information
front.
on the. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Lashara says, I thought about this, and I really like the idea of getting some compensation back to Haro with some of this funding for blowing up his building. How much do you think we should take for that?
At least a couple million. What fits on a credit chip?
I do have no idea. It might be like
I look around his apartment
500.
and see if he has anonymous credit chips lying around. Surely that's what he would use, like the space equivalent to Bitcoin, right?
Yeah. Let me see here.
Probably wouldn't be lying around. It'd probably be in a safe.
Oh, F7. Can you please open the safe?
Oops. He says yes. He goes into the office where you're sort of at, and there's a big painting, and he moves it, and there's a huge like walk-in safe, and he starts.
I laugh at how
doing-
cliche that is
Yeah.
to F7. I say F7. Remind me if I ever have a cool base, not to put the safe behind a painting like that. This guy was tacky. This guy's tacky. I say that. Go ahead, Kirk. I like the imagery.
I'm reading up on the cred chip thing. It doesn't look like it. Yeah, it's basically going to go through a banking thing and be put on a chip. It does not have doesn't say anything about having a limit. Yeah. So
Well then, whatever you guys think would be adequate.
$10 million.
Okay.
48
Yeah.
million. So how many? How much?
Somebody said 10 million, right?
Yeah, 10 million.
To Haro.
Because we can always come back and clean it out later.
Yeah. Unless you want to take some for yourself now. I mean, that's
No, I think us touching this money is probably toxic. I think it's bad
Yeah,
for credit.
I think
Or
that
at least
that
bad
we
luck.
yeah, I think we should hand it all off to Haro, and if Haro thinks that we deserve some of it, he can clean it and give us what he wants.
basically when it goes onto the chip, it's pretty secure. Let me just read
It's like
up on
Bitcoin.
it. It's like Bitcoin. It's
Yeah.
a flat card that features security code out and credit all algorithm memory stripes. Chip can hold a specified number of credits appropriate to the government that's issued it, or can draw from a specific account held by the user. They allow quick, easy transfer of funds and protect users from theft. They have an intelligence of 10 if you're trying to crack somebody else's chip.
I'm in the wrong business.
Modifying a credit chip so that government and bank computers think it draws on a different account or that has a different value stored is almost impossible. Central banks' computers have a will defense of 30 and a starting attitude of hostile. So you basically can't take a credit chip, say it's from a bank and from another thing without it messing.
What if we just take it all to give to Haro, and just say, here's how much ever's left, 20 million. Here's 20 million on this credit chip. Give us a $2 million finder fee from you, and hand him the money, and then we're not linked to it.
Well, the
Well,
only
The point is we wouldn't be linked to it.
No, not
If it's
either
on the
way.
credit chip, it
Oh,
no
either way
longer
we wouldn't
has
be?
Yeah.
Odon's
Oh, okay.
name on it. So yeah.
well, just in like a storytelling sense, maybe Lash just kind of pokes her head up and warns. The small amount of money may not get very noticed by the Hutts overall, but if we clean this out, they're gonna know. They're gonna know what happened.
Plus, if the money isn't there for the hit, like if somebody's successful, we there might be more questions being asked. Also, if
Yeah, we want to make it look legit.
Right.
if the system
and-
doesn't audit and they come up with all of a sudden one night everything was cleaned out
Right.
and he disappeared, I feel like we might have some investigators coming our way.
Plus, in the long term, if we pull off becoming his trustees and he disappears and we inherit this place, it'd be nice to have some money sitting in
Yeah.
it.
Yep, I'm with you there.
True.
The other thing I was going to ask is, while we're digging through his files, does he have anything on the creepy Force user who disappeared off the videos that actually did the blowing up of the stuff?
That would
'Cause
take.
I don't know his name, but
I
while
think it
we're
was
here.
just. Oh shoot! What was
or
it
what
called?
I don't remember what we learned about him. It's been
Yeah,
too
it's been a
long.
while.
I tried to go through the wiki and I was like, I don't recognize any of this. I don't remember who it is.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the shadow guy that came in and
Yeah.
blew up the
Can't
building?
can't remember what we
Yeah.
called
But
Yeah.
it.
the one who we know very little about and who maybe
I don't
just
feel
if
like
there's
that
a
dude.
connection here.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure there was a connection because he reacted whenever I suggested that we were able to see this guy. But this guy is an independent operator. He's hired. When we looked into who he was, we found out that he was hired by criminals all over the place.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And
Right, but
not
well, as long
strictly
as we're here-
Atari, right? Or am I wrong about that?
no, that sounds right, but maybe we have contact information now.
Okay.
I don't remember what he was called. What they kept referring to him as offhand.
I don't know.
But it was something like the shadow or something that meant that.
Shoot! I wish I'd have to look that up.
I think
talking to
I've got
mute.
it somewhere.
Yeah, it was something like I only had his general description written down because most of those conversations happened outside of the crew.
It was like
But I do remember it was like his they kept referring to him as like a ghost.
Yeah.
maybe that's
yeah,
what it
I think
was.
ghost was the right word. But I was just
Enforcer.
thinking, like,
Enforcer.
since he
Yeah.
Oh, the enforcer. I think that's right.
Yeah.
But as long as he's like a known figure and a Force user, might be good to have more information on him. So if that's here, just while we're looking.
Yeah. Yeah, you can look it up in his files.
I'll be happy to look it up.
Yes, I'm doing the suggesting because I'm not good enough with the computer yet. So
It's all right.
I only got a 22.
It is one of his main contacts, and it's listed separate of all the assassins and everything. It just says the enforcer.
But if we sent that guy out to do this assassination, I feel like that guy's going to go, something weird is going on here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
No,
think keeping
right.
this as
No,
much
I
on the
wasn't
down low
suggesting
is
that.
good.
And you also find
But
a
at the
recent.
same-
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You find a recent contact that he had made to destroy a facility on Dodd's planet.
I got a planet now. Hot damn. Haro.
Not Dodd's planet, Haro's planet.
Haro's
Sorry.
planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want a planet, though.
And that was a couple
My
days
cousin,
ago.
my cousin, what's his name's got a moon.
Galen.
Yeah, Galen.
So yeah, he was contacted with a couple days ago and paid out like $3 million to go do this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Well, that's good because if we pull, if he's having transactions frequently that are in the $1 million range, the $10 million that we're going to pull to give back to Haro is not crazy suspicious of just a transaction.
Do you want to look up his bank statement?
Sure.
Couple clicks and it comes up. The amount of money that goes into his account on a monthly basis is like 200 million. And so there are lots of expenditures for all kinds of stuff. It looks like he's funding the weapons through his personal accounts.
Wow. Okay,
So-
print.
Yeah. It's payments to the companies. This doesn't really say what it's for. It's just a monthly removal of money. It's a lot. So this is what's left at the end of a month. This is 50 million. So
Can
it'll
we print that ledger
yeah.
or copy it? Okay, cool.
It's a bank account. It doesn't really have his name on it or anything. It's just a line by line of what's going on.
Huh.
So
Well,
it's
With that
a whole
information, will we be able to access it from other places than here now that we have all of it?
No. It's like a secure login to your bank from his computer. I don't recognize this
whatever-
device. I'm going to send you a
Whatever
text.
we want to do, we should do it here. But again, we
Right.
want to try to keep it legit looking.
Right.
But, having a few $1 million
Yeah.
in reward would probably be pretty freaking sweet.
Yeah. A lot of frequent purchases under 5 million all over the place for all kinds of stuff. Just it's crazy. It's just you've never seen this many transactions in a month ever. He's buying things, selling it
I can't even
off.
imagine the kind of money we're talking about.
Yeah, buying galactic stock, selling it off, whatever his other holdings are. There, it's just constantly putting money in his accounts on a regular basis.
All right.
We've got a list of his assassins and his general thuggery guys. Do we have any other additional lists of? We've got the Hutt that's his backer, Jabba the Hutt. We've got. Are there any other things that look interesting? I mean, I'm just going to download everything I can, obviously, but
You can sift through it later, but having access to current data or manipulating things would not be possible.
Okay.
So you're finding all kinds of
Lash.
stuff. He's funding archaeological digs on certain planets. He's buying up
Why?
businesses. You don't know. He's just eclectic. It's just all over the board. He owns a small, spice retail store.
You got dirty
Chain.
money. You got to move it around
Yeah,
to clean it.
Yeah, he's in everything almost.
So Lash, as you're downloading this stuff, Lash says, "Hey guys, we need to hurry up. I just have this odd feeling."
okay.
Yeah, the crew's been ready to go.
All right, let's.
So again, no money for yourself.
Well, I'm totally fine with the 10 million to Haro, and then if he sees the need for a reward / finder's fee or whatever, we'll leave that up to him.
Seems
And
I
like,
lost a factory building and poured a crap load of resources into our ship. I feel like it's
Right.
it's fair to at least offer.
no. I love the idea of giving him the money. I don't see any reason why we can't take like $1 million for
Right.
us. Like I
Because
That'd
if
be fine.
somehow
I
that's
would-
that's able to be traced.
it's
No,
not.
it's
We
not.
keep getting the
but it's
confirmation that it's not
Like,
traceable.
that's Kirky's
Cryptocurrency
telling us
is
that it can't
not
be traced.
traceable.
What
Period.
what if
Chad
the
would like to
game
interject
master's
and say he'd
lying
like,
to us,
he'd like
guys?
2 million.
What if he's lying? He could be
Drive
lying.
down to his house and flip his giant table.
Okay, let's take $1 million apiece. Let's go.
Okay. 1,
I
2,
asked
3,
for
4, 5.
I was okay.
5 million.
I asked for 2.
It's
Two?
not.
I don't care.
6
It's
million.
not going to cause
Whatever you
suspicion.
want. I'm only taking $1 million.
Anything
You
for
guys do what
Nanat?
you
Right.
want.
I wasn't gonna take.
Oh, and then not.
That's fine.
Yeah.
7 million. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
How did we get up to 7?
Because Jed said 2.
Jad said
I
2.
want 2.
Oh, okay.
Unless you want to give
But
some to
James
Lito.
Moore-
We'll never
expensive.
spend
What
through
can
this
you
money.
Right. Rora's planning on sending a bunch of it back to her family, so
There you go. All right.
Dottis is fascinated by the idea of owning his own intergalactic amusement park,
If you got
and he
it,
doesn't want to
But, like,
screw that up.
I'm also excited about this. Like I'm like, if we can pull this off, this sounds awesome.
Do you remember when you guys were kids and you would play Dungeons and Dragons and you clean out the monsters in a big lair, and then you're like, I own this now. This is mine.
Yeah, yeah.
Set up shop.
The
Right?
problem is I have PTSD from doing shit like that because it's like, oh look, here comes the other shoe.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just have this funny feeling. This is going to be a little meta here, and I really hope that the story rolls whatever way Kirk wants it to. But we are in the detention bay in our stormtrooper uniforms, and they're starting to ask questions, and we're getting ready to shoot the panel. Like
Everything's fine here. It's
Everything's fine.
We're all fine here.
Yeah. Okay, let's head out.
All I know is that we just took about half of this guy's money.
not
Well-
really. We took half of his monthly leftovers.
Yeah. Whatever's left over.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Like, of what's currently in his bank account, we just took half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So you
Well,
guys.
and think about it. To us, that $1 million, I mean, just even spread out amongst the 6 of us, is one hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right? Now, each of us has that much, and we're granting our benefactor 10 times that.
Well,
Right.
even if the
Only
money
times
isn't
what
if the money isn't traceable, the droid has seen us do this. There's ways that this information could be out there that we took this, and we'll let that roll how it rolls.
Yep.
Yeah, I take a second hard drive and I copy the information in that I've downloaded really
Okay.
quick, and I hand half of it to Jad.
Okay.
And
You all have your own cred sticks with your money on it, so it's no need to divide it up later on. About that time, you noticed that F7 says, if you would like one of the HK droids, I could have it sent up and deactivated.
could you just have it brought on board the ship and deactivated?
Yes.
No, we wouldn't have to carry it.
The droid will record everything until it's turned off.
Okay, that works. Let's do that. And F7, you're a natural. How did you anticipate that? That was incredible.
You were talking about it on the ship for a day.
Yeah, I do get a little obsessed, don't I?
It could be deactivated and you can put your spike in, or you can reprogram it by hand if you wish.
Okay, great. Let's do that.
My advice would be to remove the antenna
Communications
device.
Yeah,
And he
we'll
turns
do
around.
that as well.
He turns around and accesses security and requests an HK droid be sent up and deactivated upon its arrival.
Okay,
And the security system puts out, it'll be there in so many minutes, and then it shuts down. And he offers you some more coffee or anything while you wait, or whatever's on the tray. It's filled with all kinds of stuff.
thanks. I eat a muffin and get ready to head out the door.
He also makes another communication that says he wishes the suite to be cleaned and sanitized in about an hour. And
That is awesome. Oh, and we'll send out the missives for that special project just before we hit hyperspace, right?
he says if you would like me to record the message now in his office, it would seem more legitimate, it says. And so it
Sure,
turns to the
do
panel
that.
and puts a little data rod in and records a message, and he does it 7 times for each one, saying they'll get $1 million upon accepting, and what was it, 7 million on completion, and no one else is to know that you've been hired.
Well, it's 5 million upon, or 4 additional million upon completion.
Yep.
4
It's
million.
5 in total.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's
I
five in
thought
total.
somebody said 7.
One down.
Because 5 is an average for a high level target.
Yeah. Yeah, make it 7. Make it, fuck it.
All right,
The money's there.
7 it is.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
fine.
we were talking
Numbers
about
easy.
him being cheap.
Yeah. No, you don't know if he's cheap.
The-
That's
the
the thing.
numbers- The 7 came from there being 7, it being sent to 7 assassins. So the
Okay.
7 would come out immediately, and then 4 upon completion for each one.
Okay.
On off. But
Yeah, only one of them's gonna get the 4.
I'd like to
additional,
say
uh,
that I used some sort of clever numerology to work all that out, but really it was just random.
Okay. All right.
I like the idea that there were 2 assassins on the payroll. That he was like, no, not those 2 guys. That part.
Well,
I
they
like.
work for the Tatari. I mean, that's what it was.
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
loyalists.
is it?
They're loyalists. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
A couple minutes later, the HK droid comes in. The door chime goes off, and he says, "If you would like to get out of sight," because he's going to
Yes.
visually record everything until he's shut down.
Okay. We'll move off to just out of sight.
Okay. Answers the door. Door opens, and the HK comes in and says, "How may I be of assistance?" And F7 says, "Please shut down your systems for a routine checkup." And it shuts down. The door shuts behind him.
Quickly, mechanicals. Let's get the antenna off of this guy, and let's reprogram him.
It was what's the HK droid?
11 is the difficulty number, right?
What
Oh,
was
no.
for F7? Let's find out what
Okay.
Yeah. For the mechanical portion of removing the antenna, I got a 23 on that.
Okay.
And here's my. Do you want to take the lead on the use computer dot, or do you want to?
I probably should. I have a 15 skill.
Yeah, I'll assist.
Okay. Although
You can add additional 2 to whatever you do.
Okay.
I could just use the spike, right?
You could just use the spike, but it's up to you. If you've
Yeah,
got
just
if you've
use
got
the
10
spike. It's
minutes,
literally what it's there for.
Maybe I'll just use the spike. Boom.
okay, puts it in the back of its port, and it you have to power it up real quick, and the spike does its thing. Like 2 turns later, his eyes go from red to gold.
Excellent. That's a good sign.
It says,
Okay.
"How may I be of service?"
HK, right now, just follow us. Keep us safe.
Does it have a weapon on it?
You can give it a weapon.
Yeah, they usually carry
It comes
blasters.
with a blaster rifle.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
Yep,
you take the
let's-
device off, put it on the ground, or take it with you. It's up to you.
As long as it's disconnected, I think we're good.
Okay.
And disconnected and disabled.
Yeah.
Crew?
Yeah. Once it's taken off, it's not powered.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
no, it's. I got a 24. I mean, like, it's more spare parts for a crew now.
Right. Right. So you can
Gotcha.
take it if you want. It's not a big deal. It'll
Also,
it'll
for
leave
future,
Take that.
it'll leave less trace behind.
for future consideration, I want to work on upgrading the security software inside of both F7 and the HK droid,
Okay.
so that they're not so easy to take over in the future.
Yeah. The HK droid had a will defense of 12. That's all you had to beat roll wise. Yeah. I
So
thought it'd
one
be
more?
higher. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys head down the lift.
Elevator.
Opens up.
Yeah.
Same thing going on. Jad, make a perception roll. You guys are walking through and noticing everything. Are people walking around?
21.
21. Off in the corner of your eye, you see a person in Mandalorian armor pushing a carbonite coffin with a person in it, pushing it off in a different direction. It's got red and silver markings all over it. And it's looking around. It's got a blaster rifle on, full jetpack and everything. Just catches your eye. Like, oh.
You guys see that over there? Oh, that's the latest version. It's pretty nice, isn't it?
Huh. Let's, what are you suggesting?
I mean, I envy the armor. That's all.
Yeah, me too. But I also think that person might be kind of dangerous, don't you think?
Probably.
Let's make our exit, shall we? Try to look casual to pick up the pace.
Okay. The protocol droid is kind of looking back at you and starts walking a little faster. The HK droid is following you guys all behind. Nothing much happens. There's just other people going on doing their business. You guys walk down the hallways. You get farther down the hallway, less and less people. And finally, you get to the HK droid at the end. It is just facing the wall across from the doorway.
Facing the wall, like, oh, okay.
It's next to-
He's
next to-
he's guarding the door.
Next to the
Yeah.
airlock.
Gotcha. Okay. F7 clearance.
Yes, sir. And he kind of jogs ahead a little faster, passes up the HK droid, and says, "Can you come here for a second?" And he turns around. The droid walks past the docking ring or whatever, and he starts talking to it. And he kind of looks over its shoulder at you all and looks back at the droid. He's just talking to it, distracting it basically.
Okay, let's get on board the ship.
Okay, you guys all get on board, and you hear him say, "Thank you very much. We shall return in a few days, as if planned. Everything goes as planned." And the HK droid says, "Confirmed," and it turns around and walks down the hallway. And he gets on board and shuts the airlock.
Get out of here, crew. Power up this juice. Juice? Power up the juice. Let's go.
Juicy juice.
We're gone.
Yes.
The ship disembarks and takes off. Hits hyperspace, and we'll call it there for the night.
You know, I really bet we all could have taken that guy and gotten his armor.
Is that what we were supposed to do? I don't know.
Anyway. Coulda, shoulda.
It's a big
All right,
it's a big
is this where
station.
The
we-
fact that we
Thank
got
people for
out of there the way we did, with, so far as we know, no breadcrumbs, I'm really glad that we convinced Jed not to go fuck with the man.
So, one of the things that I do want to do is not go directly back to Haro. I'd
Okay.
like to put in port somewhere else and have a really good look at the ship, make sure there aren't trackers or something on it.
Okay.
Because, we didn't bother with that when we were going to the station because we were going to the station.
Yeah.
But now that we've left the station, I feel like maybe this is the time where they're going to start going, hey, boss isn't back yet. Let's hit that tracker we put on his ship.
Right.
See where he is, that kind of thing.
And also, her crew was taught how to mask the signals. So
It's true.
he could, wherever we set down, I can put that in.
Yeah.
Like, we kind of have another ship now.
Yeah. Yep. It's got
I don't
Tatari
know.
markings
I
on
think-
it, but yeah.
Right.
That can be taken care of.
Yeah.
I almost think keep them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm
We
for
could
now.
talk about it. We could talk about it.
So say when we're dealing with Odant, we're already dealing with a player that's a little higher than what we probably should be, considering the amount of money and assets that this guy has. Assassins on his payroll, a station full of mercenaries. and his benefactor is even bigger player than that. And
Not for
Now
long.
we know who that is.
yeah,
And that's important.
Who that was, if the assassins are successful.
That's right.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
won't be. There's no way an assassin gets a hut. All that's going to happen is his hut's going to become furious at Odant, hopefully, and starts looking for, I don't know, this ship.
yeah. That's what
Okay.
I'm getting at is the amount of tracing that we want to be able to eliminate. Should be pretty high with someone of this caliber of hut.
Yeah.
So we're back to Hakuru's plan of put Odant back on his ship and send it into the nearest star.
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, good game.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kirk.
Yeah. All right. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. May the force be with you.
And also with you.
This has been a production of Gaming Without Gaming, all rights reserved. Visit us at gamingwithoutgaming.com. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/gamingwithoutgaming. Title music is by Greg Braun. Find him on soundcloud.com/Clara7. That's KLARA-7. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and thanks for watching. Gaming Without Gaming logo music is by Kevin MacLeod.